We're talking about hurdles the other time now, helping or guiding the youth or guiding these young filmmakers, to bypass hurdles in the line of creating sellable content. Help us break that down as to what, they might encounter and how to navigate around it.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges that most of the creatives are facing, especially after they're done with the program, is it's difficult to go out into an industry that's focused one way and you're focused another. So the goal in which we try to tell them is you find the like-minded people in your industry and share your knowledge, and you have to find a middle ground, right? It's just that simple. There is a middle ground. Our industry works, we do our page count, right, is 1 page equals 1 minute of screen time. So we look at an hour 20 script, we know that's 2 hours, that's a 2-hour movie. We take that and then we apply that, and as we're shooting it, we know that we're gonna have a 2-hour movie. And everything's segmented, this sequence, that sequence, everything's in there. We then know, with all of that, how we can go about getting it done, how many pages we can shoot in a day, which also is part of our budgeting and our planning. How many pages can we shoot a day? Not how many parts of the movie, how many pages? That's a key to really good production. If no matter where you are in the world, the US, UK, China, Africa, doesn't matter. If you're shooting 25 pages in a day, it's not gonna be good. It's gonna be okay. Not that I'm not saying it's gonna be bad, I'm saying it's gonna be okay, because you can't apply your best. The actors can't perform to the level that they have because they don't have enough time. Right? We call ourselves time chasers at Del York. We chase time all day. There's never enough time. We're gonna be chasing it forever. So the goal is to get them to utilize the time correctly. The difference in me at home shooting 2 to 4 pages a day and someone here shooting 12 is I have more time. Of course it looks better. Of course it's lit better. Of course it sounds better. But that's because I have more time. So we have to find a middle ground. I'm not saying that, the Nollywood or the Nigerian industry should shoot 2 pages a day. I'm saying we have to find a middle ground. We can't do 15. Maybe we do 8. Right? Because that gives them more time. If you're delivering what you're delivering with in that amount of time, if you can shoot a film in 8 to 12 days, imagine what you can do with that same film in 15 days.
All right. So,
Yeah,
okay, no, you first, Sam.
Coming from Chicago, you must have to do a lot of cultural understanding, both from your side and from the side of the trainees. How do you guys deal with culture clash, cultural barriers?
Yeah, well, growing up in Chicago,
Yeah.
the South Side of Chicago,
Yeah.
born and raised in the project, so it was a pretty rough neighborhood. Still rough to this day. And
But still a different culture.
It is, but making the transition culturally from that to Hollywood is just they're worlds apart. What you learn through your experience is cultures have a lot of connectivity, right? We may speak different languages, we may do certain things at certain times a little different, but we still all wake up, still all do what we do during our day, and we all go to sleep at night.
You're all hungry.
So always. So especially in the creative industry, there's a great balance in the creative industry because creatives love creatives, right? You meet a creative and you kind of know it. You guys, it's an instant thing. And you know it because you guys speak the same language. And that goes against, that's in every culture, right? It's not something that is only applied to someone who speaks English or French or any other dialect, right? It applies to any. Because creatively, we see things a little bit different. That's in music and fashion and arts, it's in everything. So that's the great thing about that industry, is it helps you break through certain different cultures, going from Chicago to Los Angeles, from, hanging out in a project building to walking around major studios. It's a difference in culture, but you find that in that industry to connect.
I think that's also an advantage because I read books and I can also relate with where you're heading. Looking at when you read books, you find yourself you can find yourself in various countries, various locations. I think that's also the miracle of film business. Okay, so how does Del York stand out in all these training platforms? I understand that your theme is about changing the narrative. So what? From your, if you would sell Del York, what makes you guys tick?
I think it's the work that we do. I think that we apply the method of moving the needle forward, the path of excellence, right? We walk in trying to be as excellent as we can be from day one. It's a challenge, but if that's our starting point, then we'll be okay wherever we land because we were already starting in a good space. We start with the passion for excellence. We start with the goal of being as excellent as we can be. So what we try to do is apply that to the students as well. From day one, your goal is to be excellent. Again, understanding the challenges, knowing traffic's an issue, knowing this is an issue, that the rain slows, knowing those things, we still push for it. And the students still, they show up. They find ways to work around it. And that's sort of like the first bridge. It's just making the connectivity. And what separates us is we've been able to adapt our programming every year for over a decade.
How do you get these trainees together? How do you identify where they are and how do they find you?
Well, a lot of them will check through social media, right? The Delio Creative Academy Instagram page or Facebook page. And also that the Academy has a residence on the island of Victoria Island. There's also, like, they do open submissions, so they'll have people submit their films and they'll do a critique. And we try to leave it open for everyone, but we do want to make sure that people have that creative edge. Because, some people think it's not, it's great, I just want to go. And then you go and it's overwhelming. There's a lot of information. So you have to kind of really be a little particular about the picking, but not too much because you never know where that great idea, that person with that great opportunity or great story in them is going to come from. So it's challenging at points, but we do try to leave the door open for anyone who's interested, but also understand that this is going to be an intensive program.